Hey guys, Mike Murtis, Gamer Logic here, and you're probably wondering why I am in the middle of a baseball field. And that's because I was invited to cover the final match in the Little League World Championship Series, and I am so excited to be here. As you can see behind me, the action is fast. The action is furious. Little kids are throwing bats at each other. They're tripping each other. People are getting dirty, nasty. The parents are swearing. Oh my God, what a moment in Little League history. But that's actually not why I'm here. I just figured it's a beautiful day out. I love doing the last episode I did outside in the sun, enjoying this beautiful, beautiful weather. And I thought, it might be windy out, but that's what this windscreen is. That's what the camera is with the external microphone. And I thought, yeah, you know what? We're going to do some updates. We're going to talk about some accomplishments, some things that are coming on the horizons, and we're going to make it fun. So I'm going to bounce around to several different locations around the area here and just have fun shooting outside and telling you guys what's up. So grab your bike, grab your helmet, grab your skateboard, your walking shoes, however you like to travel, because let's go on a journey and let's talk about what's up with Mike Murtis and Gamer Logic. Here we go. All right, folks, well, let's get right into it. Like I said, it's just been so beautiful out lately, and I have all the gear to actually record outside with some minimal interference from like the elements. It's super windy today, but that's what this little pop shield's supposed to do. God, last time I think I used these mics in outside capacity was for the Midwest Gaming Classic many, many years ago. But yeah, there's just so much going on that I wanted to talk about. And first and foremost, this is something that just absolutely blows my mind. I am officially a trading card. I have been nominated and made into a trading card, and I am now officially a part of Walter Day's Video Game Superstars trading card line. This trading card line has been around for a while. There's some really cool cards on there. There's a variety of stuff on there. Movies, comics, superstars within the video game community, for their contributions to everything they've done in the modern gaming community, the retro gaming community, world record holders. The list goes on. And I found out recently that I was actually going to be one of those people featured in the 2020 Superstar lineup. And man, talk about a cool accomplishment. I collected baseball cards as a kid, comic book cards, basketball cards. Never, ever in a million years did I ever think that I would have my own trading card. So it's a cool accomplishment. It was really cool getting the email from Walter Day and just saying, hey, are you good with this? How does the card look? Are you happy with it? And I was totally happy with it. So huge thank you to Walter Day as well as Old School Gamer Magazine for giving me the opportunity to do what I do kind of on a bigger platform. And, thanks to Walter Day and OSG for recognizing my contributions. I've always done this as a hobby, but I've always wanted to kind of make my mark in pretty much anything I do, right? And I love talking about video games. Video games have always interested me as a kid, more than just the games themselves, the people behind it. So, after doing YouTube videos for 12 plus years and writing blogs and freelance and stuff for almost 20 years, that kind of recognition is just super cool. And I really look forward to getting the physical cards. I guess they're on their way to their printer. So yeah, check it out. If you collect the Walter Day trading card series, I am the newest inductee to that card. And man, again, just super awesome moment. And speaking of Old School Gamer Magazine, I'm still continuing to write for the magazine. I can't believe it already, but it's already been a year since I started writing for the magazine. coming in with my debut with my Ninja Gaiden Trilogy article, and then writing about analog systems, the FPGA systems that they're very, very famous for and just look absolutely amazing. And then to the point where we're at now, where I have a regular column in the magazine, End of Days, where I write about the final game for a system and why the system ended up being canceled, the console. So I've gone through, I think, like 2 or 3 of those so far, and it's been really fun to write about them because you can go on Wikipedia, you can do your research wherever you need to do, and I do far more than just look at Wikipedia. I will tell you that right away, because there's a lot of stuff that's wrong on that. But I do my research. I look at Associated Press stuff. I go through as much as I can. But I also like putting my own personal insight on this stuff because, I was born in '83. Really involved with the NES and other systems. I grew up during the console wars and all that. So I kind of have my own personal spin as a consumer as to how that stuff was going and what my general experience was, and paying attention to the more professional side of things too back in those early days to really see how the market trends were and what the general feeling of those systems were. So they're really fun to read. If you haven't checked out any of my stuff in Old School Gamer magazine, I highly recommend you do so. They have a free version you can get. There's also a paid digital version you can get, and then there is the physical subscription that you can get, where you get both the digital and a physical magazine mailed to you. And these magazines are just absolutely amazing. A lot of great writers on there. Super excited to be a part of that magazine, and super excited about some of the future opportunities that are coming with that. So very, very cool there. So with that, before we move on to our next subject, I think it's time we move, period. So let's find another spot to talk a little bit more about what's going on with me and what's going on with the channel. So here we are. This is another beautiful place that I like to ride around, and this is a normal place I hit actually when I do my runs, anytime I do my bike rides, and this is just a few blocks away from my house. This is like this cool little gazebo off this cool little prairie trail that's got this path cut out. It's got this nice like uphill ramp to it as well as downhill, and this is just kind of a blast because I have a mountain bike. I have a GT Aggressor. It's nothing like super expensive or major, but as part of my exercise routine, I do daily exercise. So sometimes I run, sometimes I bike, sometimes I do power circuits, right? And as a part of like my 8-mile bike ride that I try to do like under 32 minutes, I go through this trail, and it's just so beautiful. It's great in putting on headphones and just listening to like Spotify and just jamming out to like synthwave tunes or whatever. So yeah, this is a beautiful little gazebo out here. Needs some work. They have like this death-defying edge here of the railing that's about to break away. Like if I wanted to film like a cool action movie stunt and have someone kick me off this thing with the guardrail breaking and everything, it would totally do it, because it's like totally gimmicked. It's like every table in pro wrestling you've ever seen that's already been gimmicked. Pretty crazy. But back to what's going on with me and what's going on with the channel. We talked about the trading card. We talked about the Old School Gamer magazine updates and everything. So what is it that I'm doing from a gaming perspective? I'm playing some modern stuff, but as usual, I'm playing a lot of retro stuff, and I'm actually getting into my arcade games a lot more. Funny enough, my Neo Geo MVS cabinet, holy crap, guys, the monitor actually smoked out, and I thought my arcade was on fire. It turns out the chassis on the monitor just totally burned out. It was like putting out smoke and everything. Scared the living crap out of me. So monitor shot, had to take the monitor out, had another arcade monitor, smaller one, got that in. My MVS is good to go. It was kind of a nice repair achievement for me, honestly, because I was able to do that myself. Now I got to find a way to get that nice, I think it's a 27-inch monitor that's in the MVS cabinets. I got to find someone to actually work on that or get a replacement for that eventually, because I did go down to a smaller monitor, but since I fixed it, I was like, well, crap, might as well play it. So I've been playing games like Pulsar and stuff on the Neo Geo MVS, but some other stuff I've been doing is I have been full on the Terraonion stuff, guys, like totally. Recently, I picked up the Terraonion MODE, which is the optical disk drive emulator for both the Dreamcast as well as the Saturn. And I should have got two, is what I should have done, but I did not do that. I had a GDU emulator for Dreamcast like ages ago. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, and couldn't get the damn thing working. Finally got the thing to work, and now that we have that working, I was like, okay, let's move on over to the Saturn. So Terraonion MODE came, took my Japanese Saturn, which is a horror story in itself. Came from some guy in China, I think, Japanese Saturn. He said it was modded. Everything was in great condition. The mod job was super, super poor. Was actually causing more issues with the Saturn than anything. I ended up removing that, and the Saturn functioned from every point from there on forward. But like, he gave me a controller, and he leaves this envelope in there that says, make sure you leave me good feedback. And the controller is like ripped to shreds. Like, the cord casing is coming off the controller. I was like, this is awful. But the Saturn itself worked, so I was like, cool. So I nominated that Saturn to be my mode Saturn because I wanted to use the mode for that. And basically get the disk images, load it on a hard drive, SSD hard drive, and start playing some games on there, really, that I haven't had the opportunity to play, or I didn't have the import copies, or vice versa. I have a really great Saturn collection, but there's just so much more out there that I wanted to play. So yeah, went through the process. Not bad. If you follow the instructions, you follow them carefully, it's actually pretty easy to get the Saturn mode hooked up. The biggest part that I don't like about the Saturn mode is if you're hooking up a hard drive to the mode, depending on the hard drive, and I think this has more to do with like spindle hard drives, non-SSD drives than SSD. If your drive requires more power, it's a real pain in the ass to get the extra power connectors running off the mode board into the like power connectors of the Saturn motherboard, because I got like these teeth, you got these really short cables, and you're trying to fit them in there, and I thought for sure I was going to break the damn things. Thought I had them in there, and then it turned out that my SSD didn't need additional power, so it was fine. But had I had to use those power clips, like, they just don't seem sturdy. They don't seem like they were going to stay in. I really didn't like them. I watched a couple other installation videos and stuff like that, and that seemed to be like the most common complaint, that part kind of sucked. So just be aware that if you're getting this for your Saturn and you do need extra power for your hard drive, that part is kind of a pain in the ass. If you're hooking it into your Dreamcast, though, it's like super easy. I think it's literally pop the disk drive, open the Dreamcast, pop the guts out, and then pop in to whatever you need to pop in at the input port on your Dreamcast, and you're good to go. You don't have to do all the deconstruction steps that you have to do on a Sega Saturn. Is it bad on the Sega Saturn to take it apart? It could be if you're not paying attention, but I mean, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But overall, I'm loving it. Played a bunch of games on the thing, a lot of import stuff, North American stuff. Haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. It's reading all the disc images great, so I can kind of put a close on collecting Saturn games unless there's something I really, really, really want. But I actually have like the physical copies of all the Saturn games I want, so don't have to worry about that too much there. Speaking of Terraonion, I was so impressed with the mode that I actually decided to pick up the Terraonion MEGA SD. Why did I pick it up? Even though last year I sought out a Sega CD Model 1, and I have a Sega CD Model 2, and an XI, and all that crap. Again, there's just a lot of Sega CD games that I don't own that I wanted to try out, and it was nice to have everything in one location. Haven't tried it out yet. Just got the SSD card in the mail, so literally when I'm out here recording this and doing my bike ride, I have a ton of Sega CD ISOs being copied over to a memory card, and I'm looking forward to trying that out tonight. A couple things I didn't like about it right off the bat that I discovered as soon as I got the thing is it looks like you can't play Sega CD games if you have a 32X plugged into it. You also can't play Sega CD games off the Mega SD if you have a Sega CD plugged into it. So that is kind of annoying from that regard, because even though I have a Sega CD and I have a 32X, and the idea and the intent of the Mega SD is, yes, you can play your Sega CD ISOs on that, I still like to have that stuff hooked up. So what's going to end up happening is I don't want to disconnect my tower of power in the game room, so I'm actually going to use the analog Mega SG to be my full-on like Sega Genesis experience. So Sega CD, Genesis, Mega Drive, all that stuff will come off of that, and then I'm going to keep my is it Crits? I think it's Crits. EverDrive X9 I think I have for that stuff. So just a little disappointing there. If you do own all that original hardware and you have a Sega CD and a 32X connected to that stuff, you can't play Sega CD games. You have to disconnect it. You can't just unplug it like from power. You physically have to disconnect it. So kind of annoying there. So that is my Terraonion update and reviews so far. And what else I got on here? Dieting. Yeah, I'm back to dieting. I'm not going to go crazy like I did 2 years ago and drop down to like 180 pounds again, because when I did that, I actually felt sick. I'm going to keep it between the 195 and 200 level. That seemed to work best for me before, but I've already dropped, because I was like in the 230s back in like April, I want to say. I am already down to 215, so doing a lot of stuff to keep the weight down, eating better, of course, still having my weekend days where, I dive into whatever we order out, but I literally exercise every day now, whether it's running, whether it's biking, at lunch is the lunch hour is basically my exercise hour, right? And I kind of have that time period to exercise and then get back to work. So I kind of have to set a timer for myself. But even on the weekends, I go out, I bust my ass, and by far, guys, the biggest thing for me, like what gets my heart rate going, what makes me sweat the most, like what makes me lose the lbs quickly, it's running. And I'm not a fast runner by any means. I can do 3 miles in like 27 to 29 minutes. On a bad day, it's like 30 to 31. I'm not super quick when it comes to my runs, but still, like those kick my ass out of anything. Like I love to bike, and I love my power circuits, but man, nothing gets me heated up like that. But yeah, so that's going good as well. So why don't we move on to our next locale and see where we can find a shoot. Maybe we'll shoot on the trail. So let's go. All right, folks. Well, we are on the last part of my bike ride here. Again, what a great day out. I'm actually going to jump in the pool next when I get home after getting the water, because it's nice out, but it's definitely hot out, that's for sure. So the last 3 things I want to talk about has a little bit to do with like my side projects and stuff, as far as what's going on with the channel. Channel wise, we're getting more into like a vlog kind of thing with occasional video game things, occasional music and stuff like that. I've put some like video game vinyl soundtracks up, miscellaneous reviews, a little bit of miscellaneous or everything. So I guess for those folks that have been watching for years, what do you want to see come back? What do you want to see more of? At this point, I've kind of covered everything, so I'm not really sure what you guys are interested in, because I'm kind of all over the place with things, quite honestly. I just kind of do what I feel like doing, like this video, for example. But if there's something you guys like want a little bit more detail on, maybe you guys want me to review like the Terraonion MODE or something like that, let me know what you guys would be interested in. But a couple other things that are going on. I posted it probably back at the end of July, but something pretty huge happened to me in terms of finally being recognized by the guy that got me into music production in the first place. I had the opportunity to remix BT's The War, and BT is like one of the main pioneers of trance music, EDM, you name it. He's done a variety of film scores and everything else. The guy's a tremendous musician, a tremendous producer. And when I heard his track Remember, that's what got me into like DJing and making my own electronic music, and eventually, what I do now. So I got an opportunity to remix his song "The War," which is on his brand new album, which is fantastic. And he loved the remix, guys, which was awesome. So kind of cool, you know, because I've been doing that for like 20 plus years as well, and having the guy that got you into making music saying, you know, hey, I like your stuff, I love the remix you did on my track, is just huge. So as of right now, that song of course is available on my YouTube channel to watch, but it's also available to listen to on BT's SoundCloud, which for me is totally just full circle, guys. Blows my mind that you can go to BT's SoundCloud, you can go to his Twitter, and Unleaded Logic pops up. That's just insane. So listen to that if you haven't checked it out yet. Really great remix, synthwave kind of style remix that I did. And next up is also Unleaded Logic related. I have a new EP coming out, and that is coming out next Tuesday. I think that's August 25th. It's a brand new release. It's a 5-track EP, and the EP title is Stingray Special. I think I actually put Stingray Special up on the YouTube channel to let you guys hear at least a little preview clip of it. But this is a brand new EP. Stingray Special is the lead track on it, and that's actually inspired by my love of the game Valhalla. And I just kind of wanted to write a track that kind of fit in that universe and made reference to several things like Jill's Stingray and Carmo Train and everything else. So I really enjoyed writing it. It's a cool song. It's a great track for a lead track on an EP, as well as Afterburn and Vacation is on there. And so there's also an instrumental version of Stingray Special and a couple other tracks. So very cool, very excited for that. And the other thing that I have going on, which is pretty huge, is the Casual Mark Wrestling Podcast is dead. That's right. I'm no longer doing a professional wrestling podcast. Nikos and I, my buddy Nikos, decided to squash that thing. Professional wrestling is just in a weird state right now, and we just didn't have a lot of fun covering, especially when there's so many other things that him and I enjoy doing together and watching together and playing together, listening together. And yeah, we decided that we're killing the Casual Mark Wrestling Podcast, and we started a new podcast. So you can check this podcast out right now. It is available at every podcast outlet you can imagine: Apple Music, Spotify. Just look up our brand new podcast, the Synthetic Logic Podcast. The Synthetic Logic Podcast. Great podcast. We're covering everything on this podcast. We did an introduction episode. We just put out our 3rd episode, which covers our top 5 synthwave tracks. My top 5 synthwave tracks. Episode 3 is Nikos' top 5 tracks. We've got interviews from people in gaming coming in, part of the game industry. We got synthwave acts we're going to interview. We're going to do our favorite movies, sci-fi, comedy, 80s music, comic books. We're going to talk to people about cosplay. We're going to be doing so much stuff. It's going to be so much fun. And I'm glad to be doing it with Nikos, and we're going to be putting that thing together 2 episodes a month. So check it out, the Synthetic Logic Podcast. And with that, it's hot out here. I'm thirsty. I'm going home. So I'm going to go and finish this up. And for all of you that are out there, get out and enjoy the day. Get out and enjoy the weekend. It is always great hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. Take it easy. Mike Murtis, out.